All right, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and set up PayPal to work with our website. If you haven't already, please sign up for a PayPal account, and we're going to be using that to work through this particular section. Once you've signed up for a PayPal account, I'm going to go and show you how to set that up, as well as setting up our site here. First though, we're going to actually set this up to work with the Sandbox mode. So if you've actually gone to WooCommerce, settings option on your website and the checkout tab and PayPal here up in this section, we're going to actually enable Sandbox mode and then we're going to set up a fake email here. It's basically a fake PayPal email. That we're going to be doing tests to make sure our website actually works with PayPal. Once we've done that and we're confident everything works with the test account, then we're going to go ahead and put a real PayPal email in here. And that's when we decide that we're going to go live. So for now, we're going to be using the test. And then when we are going to go live, we're going to come back in here and put a real PayPal information in here. So there will be another video on that later on when we do the go live portion on coming back here and actually enabling PayPal in production. Okay, so if you've signed up for a PayPal account, we're going to be going to a location, a website here, and please follow along to get our developer account set up. And please don't let that developer account name scare you. It's just where we go set up our account for testing. So please open a new window and browse to developer.paypal.com. Okay, and that link will be in the description field. Please browse to there and you should come to a page that looks like this. And what we're going to do is go ahead and log into the dashboard. Now to log into the dashboard, you use the PayPal email and password you just set up to access PayPal. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Once you've logged into the PayPal developer account, you should have some options here at the side. One is Sandbox. When I click on Sandbox and accounts, generally there should be already two business accounts set up for, or two accounts already pre-set up for you. If not, you can always create a new account by clicking this button, Create Account. Here we have an option of what country, what account type. So the buyer's account is the personal and the merchant account is the seller. This account would be the one we're going to use. So I'm just going to test this. Hopefully it works. We're going to say seller, Nuki Learning at okay. And we're going to put a test password in here. So I'm just going to put mine. And we're going to say, there we go, as the first name and payment methods. So we're going to give a PayPal balance. I don't know. It doesn't really matter what you give here. Okay. Bank account has been verified. We're just going to test it that way. And we're going to go ahead and select the Visa card. So we'll leave it as Visa. That's fine. And we're going to go create account. Okay, and so that's just creating. All right, now we have our email address here set up. So I can actually click on this and we're going to just click on this and go profile. And this is going to give us the information for this particular account. Okay, so this is just a fake email address. It's not a big issue. You could have put in whatever, but at least we have that, okay? You can also change the password by clicking in here to change the password. The information that we're concerned about is the API credentials, which is this. We're going to be using that, as well as the funding. This is, well, we're going to be setting up another buyer account specifically for paying for stuff. So the key information here we're looking for is, of course, the profile's email ID. So we're going to highlight that. I'm going to copy it, right click, copy, and I'm going to enter that into the PayPal email portion. Control V on my keyboard will paste that. Okay, and the other pieces I'm looking for is this API credentials, this information here. So I'm going to copy this, Control C for copy on my keyboard if you're using a computer. And I'm scrolling down to the bottom here where it says API credentials, Control V. Okay, and I'm going to be setting each of these passwords. So I'm just going back and copying all this information to the API section. And what that allows us to do is to be able to process refunds immediately. So if there is a return, you can process that. Now that I've set that up, I'm just gonna quickly go and make sure that we have everything we need in here. Okay, so receiver email, I'm just gonna keep this consistent. Okay, and we can keep this blank, okay? Now I was gonna show how to set up an identity token. If you do plan on setting up more than one website, you might not want to go this particular route, is setting up this identity token. And here's what it talks about how to do that. And what it does is it's a little bit more streamlined in the background for when somebody makes a payment to your website, but you can only set up one of those per PayPal account, unfortunately. So I'm just going to leave that blank. All right, and we're going to make sure this one send shipping details to PayPal instead of billing. Just leave that. Address override, of course, it says unless you know what you're doing, just keep it disabled. We're going to go ahead and do that. Payment action. There's two actions you have, capture and authorize. Authorize only authorizes the payment. It doesn't actually process the payment. This allows you to control when a payment comes out. Most of the time you want to capture, so the person pays for it, then you fulfill their order. Okay, and this page style, this is a little bit more advanced, but it's just the style of PayPal payment page you want to use. And the next one is the image URL, which we are going to add. So I'm just going to go up here, and we're just going to scroll up to where it says Media and Library. And then I'm going to right-click on it and open in a new tab, so that way we don't lose our place here. Okay, and I'm going to look for our logo. So here's our logo, and I'm going to copy the whole entire URL of the logo. So I'm going to right-click, copy. Okay, and then we're going to go back to our WooCommerce settings page. Okay, and so I'm going back down. Where is it? Again, lost my place. Here we go, image URL, and I'm going to paste that in there. So what happens is when the person goes to PayPal and pay for it, they can see the logo, your website logo, on the top of the page. It really just links it together that they're still paying for something that they bought on your website. Okay, and the final thing in here is this invoice prefix. Okay, this is the prefix on your invoice. This is especially important if you're going to end up having multiple websites. You do not want to have duplicate invoice numbers. Okay, so to do that, I would just set like, for instance, NL for Nuke Learning or something. That way, as long as I have no other websites that I'll use NL as a prefix on the invoice number, we'll never have duplicate invoice number problems. So I recommend changing that to something a little bit more unique, maybe to your site. And then so if you have another site, you would just use some sort of prefix on that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save the changes here. And this now we have put our test seller account and our test PayPal Sandbox account, enable PayPal Sandbox has been checked. So any transaction here is not real transactions that's going to happen. So we're actually going to be running a test here real quick and to make sure that all of this works. Okay, so everything is set up there. I'm going to go back to our PayPal Sandbox accounts and we're going to create a new account. Okay, so I'm going to close that. We're going to go ahead and create an account again in our PayPal developer page. And this time we're going to set up a buyer account. So I'm going to say buyer. I really have a problem today. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go down here, password again. And okay, and I'm going to give him maybe 6,000 his account. His bank account has been verified. We're just pretending. Select payment card, I don't know, PayPal. Credit cards, we're going to give that person a Visa, and we're going to create an account. Okay, so now we have a buyer and a seller for Nuke Learning. Okay, now we can actually test this.